Bible verses about divorce. Matthew 19 verse 6. Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder. God, in His infinite wisdom and love, created the institution of marriage to be a union that is indissoluble, a merging of two into one flesh. This divine design is a profound mystery that mirrors the unbreakable relationship between Christ and His church. So, when humans decide to separate what God has joined together, it is a serious matter, a deviation from God's original design. The bonds of marriage are intended to be unbreakable, illustrating the steadfastness and permanence of God's love and commitment to His people. Malachi 2 verse 16. For the Lord, the God of Israel, saith that He hateth putting away, for one covereth violence with his garment, saith the Lord of hosts. Therefore take heed to your spirit, that ye deal not treacherously. This is a solemn warning from God about the seriousness of divorce, which He hates because it covers one's garment with violence. It implies that divorce brings about strife, conflict, and a breach of trust. God values faithfulness and integrity in relationships and calls His people to reflect His character by maintaining their marital commitments. It's a prompt to be mindful of one's spirit and actions, to avoid deceit and treachery in marital relations. 1 Corinthians 7 verses 10 to 11. And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband. But and if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. The Apostle Paul, conveying the Lord's command, underscores the importance of maintaining the marriage bond. If separation occurs, reconciliation is the optimal goal, reflecting the restorative nature of God. It's a reminder that marriage is a sacred covenant that should be preserved, and its sanctity is to be upheld by remaining faithful to one's spouse and seeking reconciliation in times of strife. Matthew 5 verses 31 to 32. It hath been said, Whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. But I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery. And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced committeth adultery. Here, Jesus clarifies and deepens the understanding of God's law concerning divorce, emphasizing the sacredness and permanence of the marital union. Divorce, except on the grounds of sexual immorality, leads to adultery, illustrating the gravity of breaking the marital covenant. This teaching pushes us to reflect on the sanctity of marriage and to pursue faithfulness and integrity within it. Mark 10 verses 11 to 12. And He saith unto them, Whosoever shall put away his wife, and marry another, committeth adultery against her. And if a woman shall put away her husband, and be married to another, she committeth adultery. Jesus reiterates the profound implications of divorce and remarriage, marking them as adulterous in nature, highlighting the enduring commitment inherent in marriage. It underscores the equal responsibility of both partners to uphold the sacredness of the union and maintain fidelity. Luke 16 verse 18. Whosoever putteth away his wife, and marrieth another, committeth adultery, and whosoever marrieth her that is put away from her husband committeth adultery. The repetitive emphasis on the consequences of divorce and remarriage in different books of the New Testament underscores its significance. It stands as a stern reminder of the spiritual and moral ramifications of violating the marital covenant, pointing believers toward upholding the values of commitment, fidelity, and integrity. 1 Corinthians 7 verse 15. But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. A brother or a sister is not under bondage in such cases, but God hath called us to peace. In cases where a believer is married to an unbeliever who chooses to leave, the believer is not bound to the marriage covenant in such instances. It illustrates God's understanding and provision for the complexities of human relationships, emphasizing His desire for His children to live in peace rather than in strained and contentious relationships. Romans 7 verses 2 to 3. For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of her husband. So then if, while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man. This passage speaks about the binding nature of the marriage covenant, binding spouses together until death. Remarriage while the spouse is still alive is considered adultery. It exemplifies the enduring commitment that marriage entails, pointing towards the lasting nature of the marital bond as conceived by God. Matthew 19 verse 9. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery, and whoso marrieth her which is put away doth commit adultery. Jesus reinforces the importance of the marital bond and the seriousness of breaking it. The exception clause provided is solely on the ground of sexual immorality, underlining the sanctity and exclusivity of the marital relationship. It's a clarion call to guard the sanctity and integrity of marriage diligently. 1 Corinthians 7 verses 12 to 13. But to the rest speak I, not the Lord, if any brother hath a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. And the woman which hath an husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. Paul extends counsel on marriages between believers and unbelievers, urging the preservation of such unions if the unbelieving partner is willing. It shows the extent to which believers should go to maintain peace and harmony within the marriage, reflective of God's grace and long-suffering. Remember to subscribe, like, share, and comment to support this channel. May the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Blessings to you all.